Hi, welcome to the Shelly Studio. Today I am working on my 100-day project, and this one is day 30. So the colors that I randomly pulled are some yellowy brown ones, and it actually turns out okay. When I'm starting, I'm like not so sure because some of these colors are ones that I don't use that often. And I think I've had this yellow and brown piece of cardstock that I gel printed since probably the beginning of me gel printing, which would have been back in 2015. Yeah, that's how old this piece of jelly print is. That's my piece of nature, and I'm just trying to see if I like how it shows up on the different pieces of paper. And it works okay. We were actually out that day. I went out with my sister and some cousins to a restaurant, and I hadn't gotten my piece of nature yet. So as we walked out of the door of the restaurant, there was this bush next to me, and I just reached out and yanked whatever off this bush. And so that's where my piece of nature came from. It was dark. I really couldn't see anything. I didn't know what I would end up with. I assumed I'd get a leaf, but has a little interesting sort of seed thing on there. And then so I have another piece of I think it's a photocopy of a gel print. I think it was running out of ink, so it's a really light color, brown and blue. Thought it kind of went well with the yellow, and another yellow piece of paper that had stamping on it. Not real specific today, I guess. So we're gonna glue these on. This one I actually am going to use my glitter glue because it is cardstock. It's not gonna hold with just glue stick, so it's going down with some regular glue, and hopefully I get that on straight. And I decide as I'm tearing these apart, I decide they're gonna kind of be near the top, and well, you'll see. It's like they're all attached at the top, hanging down. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. Anyway. Not any real forethought to this, except for I do like the stacked sort of line in the middle. I know compositions, you're supposed to use the golden ratio or rule of thirds. So it's above center if you go from top to bottom. Does that help with my composition? I don't know. I'm liking the centering thing. I added a little pencil to give some distinctness around the different colors of paper because they're all really similar in value. And now I'm just going to glue that leaf on, and that one will be done. So there it is. Not too bad. Alright, so the next one is a little odd. So I wanted to use one of those inky marks, so I grabbed one of those, and then this is my packet of paper to pull from, and I decide that I'm going to use these weird gel prints where I did sort of some profiles. I don't know, when I turn it sideways, there you go. Can you see? They're like profiles in there. So I'm going to do just the one. And of course, have to tear the edges. Because it's much more fun with a rough edge, I think. And then we're going to put, let's see, one of these behind it. Pulling out my, I think it's a quilt thing. Anyway, quilt thing to help me keep my lines square. I saw, is it Carrie the Crafter? Has like one of those L rulers or whatever, a metal L ruler. I might have to invest in one of those. I saw that and I'm like, ooh, that would be good. I think I make this one a little bit wider than I'd been making the others. A little less of a margin on the background, the paper that I glue everything to. I had that other piece out, so I figured I would just add a strip of the stencil marks that are on there, the little silvery marks. I don't think you can even tell, like, that background is so busy, that was purple, it's so busy you can't tell that they're different from each other. But I use it anyway. It's all in the thought, right? And I wanted just a small piece, and I decided to go right there, but I am going to put a piece of wood. I think I pick a different one that's a little bit lighter in color, I think. Oh, I'm still trying out things. No, that's boring. Oh yeah, flip it over. Yeah, I like that side better. So that's going to be the piece of nature, a little wood chip. I almost picked up another wood chip the other day. I'm like, yeah, I need to get more creative. Lately I've been doing sticks. Well, and today it's bark. So, yeah, I'm running out of ideas. Need to go find some different leaves, some that I haven't seen. Of course, it's the wrong time of year. Well, buds are starting to happen, but, you know, then you have to press them, let them dry. So it's easier when everything's dead in the wintertime to get nature that you can just immediately glue on. I do have a few pressed, but I think I've used quite a bit of that. I need to go out and find me some more nature. See, I mean, I don't know if that piece made any difference, but I wanted to use my little marked up tracing paper. And I just did those, I just took out some tracing paper and I used a stick, I think, and scribbled with the stick on there. Just dipped it in the ink. And then there's my wood. So there it is. I can't even remember what day I'm on, but on to the next, right? I've been trying not to use images in my jelly prints, but I ran across this one and I just really wanted to use it. I have this flower stamp and I think I got it on clearance. Probably Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And I did some jelly printing with it, and so I have these prints with these flower patterns or flower design on it, and I just really like the flower design. So when I ran across these in this particular pile of papers, I just decided I was going to go for it. And I'm not talking about that one that I'm doing right there. That was drawn with a gel pen, and I'm actually just going to use that for the dark of it. And you won't see the flower, mostly. And this is the flower I'm talking about. And it was a foam stamp. And I think that was just like a cleanup piece of paper, because there's hardly any paint on it. I have my pages hanging up on the wall in my room here, and I was just looking to see if I could see this one that I'm working on now. It's kind of hiding around the corner, but it looks like my piece of nature just happens to be a couple of leaves. Nothing too creative there. In fact, they look like afterthoughts because the flower is really the main focal. My little stamped flower. And I think I decide not to put anything under that corner. I'm just going to glue it all on. I know this project is an awful lot of gluing, isn't it? I'm trying to be quick because I want to do other stuff too, 100 days without doing other stuff is just too long. So I try to do these little projects fast so that I can go do other stuff. Not every day. Some days I'm just like, oh, one and done. That's it. That's all I can do today. Still thinking I want something under there, but I don't think I end up doing it. I do move the one dark piece a little further out so it shows up more. That's better. I'll take a picture of my wall. Try not to get anything else in the picture, so you might not see them all, but just as a little teaser, I'll put that at the end of this video so you can see kind of what it looks like. It's fun to look at them all together. It's really fun to see all of them kind of all together. I should post a picture of that on Instagram too. Maybe I will. So I decided to put the leaves over there in that spot that just felt uneven. And the leaves kind of match the color of the background. Trying to get it to stay. Stay. End up putting a little bit of matte medium on there. They actually have since dried and they've cracked a little bit. So it's good to put the matte medium on so that even if they crack, they don't fall apart and fall off the page. I look like I'm giving them little leaf massages. Just trying to get them to stay down. Stay. I can't leave my hand on there because I put matte medium. Can't leave it in one spot or it'll just stick and make a mess. So there we go. And there's that one. You can see I took the picture much later. It's already got a crack in it. Okay, and here's the next one. I just love this dark bubble wrap print. I just do. I think I've used it before. And hopefully in this one it'll be more visible. I think in the one I used it before you can't even see it. Yeah. Trying to square up my pages. I think that's my biggest struggle, is to make sure my pages are square. And even when I do that, they're still not square. I think this one seems a lot different from my other ones. Really kind of bold and crisp edges, except for the outer border, which I tore, of course. But I wanted to do these circles, so I cut them. It needed just a little something else, and there just happens to be like this triangle looking shape on this piece of paper. I mean, doesn't it look like I painted it into a triangle? But it's just random cleanup piece of paper. Crazy, huh? So I don't think I make you guys watch me tape the papers down anymore. Try to edit that out for time. So there's my bubble wrap print. My little triangle, and it goes slightly off the edge, and I don't mind that. I kind of like it. And then there's my circles. Kind of like Jetsons or futuristic. So I have a couple of branches, like they're just the ends of branches, and they're just starting to bud. And I'm going to coat them in gold paint just to seal them up, because they're not dried or anything. I don't know, they may shrivel up, I don't know. But I thought it went with the bright color to have them gold. They kind of disappear otherwise. And I probably didn't need both of them, but I had both pieces, so I used them both. And yeah, you didn't need to watch me spread the paint out and get it off my paintbrush, but there you go. And that is day 33. This next one, this is just cleanup paper, and yeah, there's a random square in the middle of this deli paper, and I decide I want that to be my background. So I've got to pull this square out of there. Okay, get everything off the table so I can do this right. Must have been a cold day. I'm wearing my sweater shirt. And that shirt does not have any paint on it, so I'm going to have to be careful not get any paint on it. Alright, so I also had, I cut a circle out of the pink section, and then I have just this little bit that I'm like, I wanted it for some reason. I don't know that I end up using this particular piece. I do use a little piece. Well, maybe it's that one. I don't know, I just felt like I needed more layers, but I actually don't mind how this one turns out. Even though I have no idea what I'm doing at the moment. But yeah, sometimes I may use even myself when they turn out and I like them. I'm like, I don't know how I did that. In fact, before I started recording my projects, I would create something. I'm like, how did I even come up with that? Like, I don't even know how I did that. And now I'm watching them back, you know, now that I record them and watch them and try to describe what I'm doing. I still am like, I don't know how I came up with that. Okay, we're going to cover the spiral with the pink. I decide to tear that up a bit and give it rough edges, and we're just going to stick it down at the bottom. Kind of like, you know, a plaque that you put on something, just for fun. Now I decide I want to add some marks, some circles, and I had to pull out a couple of different pens before I got one to work. And then here's my bit of nature. It's a piece of grapevine. And I decide that it needs to be painted black so that it'll show up against what's already there. And that way it'll go with the black marks that I've already made. So I'm just gave it a quick coat of acrylic paint. And then we're just going to glue it on there. Excuse me. I'm just trying to hit all the spots that will touch. And then trying to clean up the edges so it's not too globby looking. It'll look okay once it's dry. Alright, I get that done and I decide I want to scribble around the big circle. And I go around it with some white Posca, the fine liner, and just random words in kind of a semic writing where you can't really read it, but it looks like it's handwriting. Alright, and there is day 34. Another one down. Alright, and here are all of the ones from the video today, and I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and if you'd like to see more from me, and you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.